Here's why your YouTube ads aren't getting you seller appointments for you, your team, and your brokerage. I speak to hundreds of agents and teams on a weekly and monthly basis, and there are some really common threads that separate campaigns that do really well, generate consistent lead flow appointments and deals versus the ones that just kind of scrape by and maybe luckily see an ROI if after 6 or 12 months. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, and you might not want to hear this, but your ad budget is probably too low. Most realtors and teams vastly underestimate how much money is required in ad spend to close multiple deals per month from YouTube ads. I'm talking 2, 3, 4, 5+ deals every single month. This is because, unfortunately, marketers will pitch you $20 a day, $30 a day into ad spend to reel you into their programs, only to realize it's going to take 6 months to at least get a listing signed, not even a closed one either. Do not fall into this trap. And admittedly, we fell into this one too. When we first started, naively, right, we just copied what everyone else was doing. We pitched agents on $20 a day, $30 a day, $40 a day, not realizing that the math actually doesn't make sense at all. And you're going to see what I mean in a second. But at a bare minimum, and I'm talking absolute floor, $100 per day is the recommendation. Again, this is absolute bare minimum, and the numbers are going to be adding up. Anything under that, you should not be running campaigns, especially if you are planning to scale up with your team and siphon appointments to them so that they can actually close deals on your behalf. So, quick example, let's say we actually are looking at $100 per day. That's about a $3,000 per month budget. Now, let's just say, obviously, market to market and different campaigns depending for. Let's put a cost per lead of $150. That gives us 20 leads coming in every single month. So 20 leads, think about that. If our lead to appointment rate, so for every lead that we get, 20% of them convert to appointments, which, by the way, is a very, very doable, if not low rate for YouTube ads specifically because the intent is so high. We're looking at 4 appointments coming in per month. Let's just assume that this is in-person appointments with a homeowner at their door. If your conversion rate is 25% and average GCI is $10,000, then that's about a 3x ROAS, return on ad spend. Now, when you look at it, what other means or channels of business do you have that can predictably get you a 3x ROAS, right, with $3,000 a month in spend? Do you see how this can scale, right? And this is how, when we speak to the teams that are spending tens of thousands per month, right, 30, 40, $50,000 a month on their marketing, it might seem ridiculous looking at it from the outside in until we realize that, for lack of a better word or lack of a better sentence, we're not selling $20 massage guns, right? We're selling, obviously, high-ticket real estate. And so the numbers need to add up. But again, when they do, we're making the big money later, right? We're not obviously looking to make quick money right now. That's not the goal. And by now, I mean within the day or within the week. Still have the long-term view of it, but realize that the spend is going to be the number one driver for bringing the results to the campaign after everything else, before everything else. Reason why, and I'll explain to you later on in a second, is because everything happens downstream from the spend. And again, this is why, not to mention more room for testing and a larger reach, which we'll get into in just a second right here. Second issue, if your ad budget is good, your TAM is probably too small or niche. TAM is actually total addressable market. You might not be in a market that is actually viable to run a seller-focused campaign profitably at scale in the current state of the market. So what I mean by that is, even if you could be spending a hefty change, on running the YouTube ads, so you're spending tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands every single month. If you're in an area that's not transacting at all, there's not enough people to actually serve homes to, then we're shooting ourselves in the foot because we're not going to be able to get anything more than just eyeballs and pure awareness, which I'm sure you didn't start running ads for your team to get that going. That wasn't the result you were looking for. So here's exactly what we look for in TAM. You can really just copy and actually use this exact criteria This was taught by me by one of my mentors actually too. Shout out if you're watching this. So very very accurate, very very proven to work effectively. First and foremost, location. This is more of a qualitative metric, but when we're running the YouTube ads, we never want to target, for example, an area or a region as a general population. For example, if we're looking to target a city in the greater Toronto area, Mississauga, for example, we're not going to target the GTA homeowners. We're going to target Mississauga. Because if we target GTA homeowners or greater Toronto area homeowners, we're speaking to way too many people, and therefore we're not speaking to anybody. We have to niche down. Population size, 100,000 minimum. This is probably already something you already have in your city. But if not, if you have anything under 100,000 people, then it's probably not worth it unless the next metrics are in line still, which is number of active listings, 300 plus active listings, number of listings sold, really important the last 30 days, bare minimum 100 sales coming in every single month. Reason why, when you think about it, when running any kind of marketing campaign in YouTube ads, we're basically taking the whole pie, right, the whole circle of people in the area, transacting and selling homes, and we're shrinking it down to basically pinpoint and laser target the people who are going to be not only people who are on YouTube, people who are going to watch a YouTube ad, people who are going to click through on it, and then people who are actually going to go in and put in their details to eventually become a lead. When you really think about it that way, there are actually only a very small percentage of people who are going to be doing that. And again, that's not a bad thing. That just shows that we're only going to be reaching people who are very intentful, and therefore the numbers need to add up. Because if there's only 20 active sold every single month, how many of those are we actually going to be able to capture that aren't already working with a realtor and have an actual need to sell, and of course are going to be the kinds of people that you genuinely want to work with? Median price point, 450K minimum. Really depends on GCI, but obviously if you're not making, at least I would say at least $8,000 in GCI from a deal, then it's really not worth it. Last but not least, medium days on market. Under 90 days is preferred. This is, of course, if you're looking to transact with people who are looking to sell within the next 30 to 90 days. However, if you are in a market that's a bit tougher, where properties are selling for 4, 5, 6 months at a time, this could still be an opportunity, of course, to pick a business in the next year. So if you already have an abundance of deal flow coming in right now for you and the team, it's actually really worthwhile to run ads still, because you can set up your next year and your next 6 to 12 months in a really strong way, when most people might be afraid to run ads for that exact same reason. Once you have this all down pat, make sure that your offer is not too niche as well. I see this a lot when I speak to agents and teams on a daily basis, is that they want to test out very, very unique offers, like distressed sellers, divorcees, things like that. Downsizers are a pretty good niche, right? Upsizers, downsizers, because obviously that's a big demographic. But if you're looking to target, widowed wives, for example, who are over the age of 70, living in this specific pocket of the neighborhood and this kind of price point, again, we're shrinking the circle way too small, and we're basically squeezing and we're chokeholding Google to try finding people who are like, a literal, needle in a haystack. It's not going to work out well, even at a high ad spend. So once we looked at that, once we know that our ad budget is sound, if we have a TAM, total addressable market, that's sound as well. Likely, now we actually get into the running the ads part. You're probably not testing enough ads, especially hooks. Most teams and brokerages and realtors that I speak to, again, they vastly underestimate the number of ads they need to test at any given time to find the winners. This is a golden standard rule. This applies for running ads in all industries, but especially in real estate. Ad platforms win with data. Put 80%, literally 80% of your focus should be focused, I should say, on split testing hooks. Again, split testing means running multiple variations of them. And hooks are those 5 to 10 second intro parts of the ad that you run, where you're calling out the specific avatar, calling out the city. And what you want to do is you want to test different kinds of angles for example, statement-based openers, question-based openers, the setting. Are you shooting at a listing, at a home office, outside? Casual, professional, selfie style videos. All these things are really, really going to help you. And again, when in doubt, test more hooks, right? This is going to be the number one point of here. And this will be absolutely your highest leverage point if your budget and TAM is checked out, meaning that it's within a good spend and you have enough of a market to actually run the ads appropriately. Last but not least, and this is the thing that most people think is wrong, which it actually probably is not, it's the last step, is if your actual YouTube ads are not set up correctly. So again, if you have a budget that is sufficient enough, again, absolute bare minimum, $3,000 a month, absolute bare minimum right there. I would go much higher than that. If your TAM is a good size, it has enough active listings, enough listings sold in the last 30 days consistently. If you are actually testing ads and especially hooks, if you have multiple versions running of it and you're still not seeing results, even in between that, I would probably say you just haven't waited long enough, right? Because YouTube ads take anywhere from about 10 to 30 days to fully warm up and actually become acquainted, so to speak, with the market that we're reaching and to find the right ads that are going to fit well with the audience. And so usually you need to give it time. However, if you've given it enough time, I would say at least a month, if not 45 days, then you or whoever set up your YouTube ads might not have set them up correctly. And again, this is what most teams and brokerages think is wrong with their campaign, but usually it's downstream of the other issues. But again, it's worth noting there are certain things that do play a factor. Some quick ones: device targeting, computers, tablets, TVs. They often get higher CPCs, cost per clicks, than mobile. So be careful that some markets don't actually resonate well in computers and TVs and tablets. And so Google might actually spend a lot of money on those platforms and on those channels, and they won't actually perform and get you leads and get you appointments onto the calendar. Lastly, check your geo-targeting. Make sure that you're not going too niche or too broad. Make sure it's a good section. Audience segments and channels. By default, your videos will actually be shown on platforms like Gmail. Keep that in mind. And the reason why I say that is because if we dive into a client account real quick, keep in mind is that, as I was saying before, Google will actually by default show the YouTube ads on all Google channels. What that means is they will literally show it, yes, on YouTube, but also on YouTube in stream, YouTube in feed, YouTube short. These are low ROI platforms to show the YouTube ads on. Typically, we actually tick off all these boxes, check them off, I should say. So, uncheck them for YouTube in feed, YouTube Shorts, Discovery, Gmail, Google Display. These are going to be absolutely wasting your budget if you have them selected. So if, again, the campaign is not performing and these things are checked, then this will make a huge difference if you just keep this one selected. Also, audiences, right? Look into your audiences. Make sure that they're not too restrictive. They're not actually creating enough impressions too. This is a good metric to look at, of course, available impressions. This isn't as important as looking into the other metrics, the population side, number of active listings, sold, etc. A lot of agents and a lot of people actually mistakenly do that. They will look at just the Google metrics and not realize that. But in reality, really the most important part is making sure that all of these other downstream effects are in line. So if you are a real estate team, if you're running a team of at least 3 agents or a boutique brokerage, I'd love to have a conversation with you because I'd love to help you scale your YouTube ads and actually get you to the point where you're getting consistent seller appointments for you and your team. We are limited as we only work with 1 team or brokerage per area, per market. So once it's taken up, it's fully done. But with that being said, if you are looking for more personal advice on how you can scale up your YouTube ads and actually troubleshoot some of these issues, click on the link below to book in a time to speak with me directly. And I look forward to speaking to you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.